Disney's Mickey's Magical Adventure for the V.Smile, a children's educational video game system. I've always liked Mickey Mouse. He kind of reminds me of a male version of Minnie Mouse. This one's based around Fantasia, where Mickey plays the role of a magical wizard's apprentice. So here's the game to explain the plot summary.
Today, our friend Mickey is having a great time practicing some magic.
Higitus, figitus.
Mysteriously, Pluto's bone begins to float away. Pluto chases after it and disappears.
Pluto, where are you going? Come back! Oh gosh, he must have gone to the castle.
Looks like Mickey needs your help to find Pluto.
So you head out on a learning adventure to find Pluto. In your first quest, you'll be searching for letters to spell a word. This is a platformer where you search and zap torches for the correct letter. There's lots of tricky jumps to be made and many enemies to avoid, such as spiders. These stages aren't linear, you can move back and forth, so it's kind of like a maze. And some of these letters aren't that easy to reach, so it's going to require some platforming skills. Also, due to the large words, there's a lot of letters to find, so it's not going to be quick either. Took me a little time to get through this one, but it's a decent start to the game. The next game is object recognition. Match the word with the picture. If you don't, Mickey will have a giant rock smash on his head.
Ouch! Almost got it.
Well, at least he's in good spirits about it. This one is very simple, yet an effective learning game for object recognition. Very cool. This one has Mickey in a giant house looking for objects that have a certain shape. Example, a circle. Look for objects that look like a circle. There's a couple enemy types, magical attacking books, falling pitchers, a parrot who I have no clue what he's attacking with, a rubber ball maybe, and mimics. Mimics from Dungeons and Dragons. Living treasure chests you can stun and even use them for jump boosters. This house stage was probably the most reflex-based level due to the large amount of enemies. Kinda tricky. This next level works on problem-solving skills. You have to try to build a ladder by aligning its pieces using these arrow platforms. While doing this, you'll be harassed by bats, adding to the annoyance of this puzzle. Now, moving these things around can really become a mess if you're not careful, but use a little bit of foresight and you should do just fine. Next up is a Simon Says music matching game. Pretty straightforward, self-explanatory. We then move to this Jack of the Beanstalk area where you'll be doing various math problem solvers, such as choose the right number in sequence. Lots of enemies and lots of jumping, even a giant to try to blow you away. But you can fight them off if you need to. Now, even though this has a lot of enemies, there's a lot more room to move around, so it's not as difficult enemy-wise as the giant house. But with its twisting and changing paths of growing beanstalks, it will cause some confusion on what direction you're supposed to head in. The final level has you solving math problems. This one has the screen constantly pushing you forward in order to create a fast-paced scenario. There's lots of enemies and obstacles, but a very short level, and this is the last part of your adventure to save Pluto. You of course have your additional learning zone games. What's the Word has you choosing the letter that doesn't belong. Find the Object teaches you shape recognition and memory. Magic Mirror is about recognizing patterns. Look at the pattern at the top. What do you think the next thing Mickey's going to do?
Oh boy.
Track the egg as you looking at the paths and trying to guess which nest the egg will go into. And finally, balancing act. This one you try to balance the scales by adding an amount of fruit that equals the other side.
Gee, that's swell.
So overall, this is one of the more lengthier and more challenging V.Smile games. Along with all the regular educational problem solving you've got this almost full-fledged platformer with a whack of enemies. If it wasn't for the large amount of hit points you have, this one could have given a few adults a surprise go. I will say the mini games on here really weren't that good though. I don't think I enjoyed any of them. I think they just appeared a little too slapped together for me. Games like Scooby-Doo Funland Frenzy, you can see completely new graphics made specifically for those mini games. This one just used recycled graphics it had, so it just appeared they didn't put as much effort into them. So Mickey's Magical Adventure was a good little challenge, but it had lackluster mini-games. And you know what? I guess this time I'm okay with that. I suppose sometimes you do just have to take the bad with the good. Anyway, thanks for watching.